I was on Twitter. Paul Elam tweeted an article on AVFM called Blame Feminism, written by Diana Davison, linked to the article in the description. To explain what this article is about, here is a brief excerpt.
Within 3 hours of Jessica's article we had a promotional piece, one can hardly call it writing, to let everyone know that Jessica Valenti was starting a Twitter hashtag to mock anti-feminists or anyone who has some interesting questions the feminist gang don't want to answer. Katie McDonough published the announcement in Salon with some selected tweets showing people how to blame feminism for killing their houseplants or spilling their coffee. Katie either knew about this article in advance or has lightning-fast reflexes. I'm tossing a coin. I'm going to say it was coordinated. Silver flipping in the air. Heads, I'm right. Tails, who cares? If Jessica and Katie really want to know what people think about feminism and the accountability they've shirked thus far, it's time to let them know. Instead of cherry-picking the arguments they think can be laughed off, though most of them turn out to raise good questions, I suggest that MHRAs and other concerned citizens use this opportunity to let Jessica and Katie know what issues you really blame on feminism. To make sure they hear you, include Blame Feminism and at Jessica Valenti or at McDonough in your tweet.
For those of you with Twitter, who may also have some nifty ideas on what you blame feminism for, I'm looking forward to seeing what you come up with. Also follow me on Twitter, bitches. Oh yeah, and Stone made a video about the subject, with his own tweet, link in the description. And while I'm on the subject of Stone and his videos, Dean Ismay has mirrored Stone's video that was flagged down a few weeks ago. He did this to illustrate that in spite of not really agreeing with Stone, that neither he or AVFM believe in censorship. Well, that was a brave move, so kudos to Dean. And now, here are some of my blame feminism tweets. 1. I blame feminism for so many men in prison for false domestic violence and rape allegations. 2. Feminism is why 12-year-old girls think they're empowering themselves when they twerk in YouTube videos. 3. Feminism is why young women feel they should exercise their right to get drunk and pass out in public. 4. Feminism is why smart, successful men are increasingly avoiding marriage. Now one of my tweets said, I blame feminism and at Jessica Valenti for teaching little girls to hate men, followed by a link to this miserable little girl.
Hey, it's Tara. I did a rant early today, well actually like a couple hours ago, about homophobia and homosexuals. That rant was so much fun, and I have another rant that I'm going to do right now about feminism and sexism. So, let me get the point across. I'm a feminist. I think sexism is wrong. Those are the main things. And so, I'm a major feminist. I mean, like, you know how people say, it's the worst thing known to man, or blah blah blah, to man. It's not humans or people, it's man. It's always man's best friend. Ever start to think a dog could be a woman's best friend? No, it's man's best friend.
Did you ever stop to think that maybe man is short for human? I'm sorry, I shouldn't interrupt. Do go on. My adorable little Jessica Valenti in the making.
Best friend, because that's how it works. But what I say is I never say man, so I would say woman. So it's like, I was talking to my friend and I'm like, French is the worst language known to woman. I would never be caught saying known to man. So, I don't know, I think it's really stupid. I was talking to my friend Angela, who's really strict and stuff, and I'm sweet and nice, and she's kind at some points, but otherwise I'm like, why am I friends with you a lot of the time? But then she's the same person who told me that writing about gays was inappropriate. And so what I was doing was, they're like, how would we settle the game? And they're just like, rock, paper, scissors. And I'm like, hell no. Rock, paper, scissors is the stupidest thing ever invented by man. And the reason I said man was because afterwards I'm just like, because it was probably invented by a man.
Ha ha ha, giggle giggle, giggle ha ha ha.
And Angela's like, sexist much? And I said, men have been sexist for decades upon decades. To women. And I think women deserve a little revenge, a little payback.
Individual cases of women disliking men merely means that there are women who have a reasonable dislike for something.
Oh, I'm sorry for the interruption. Do go on, my little femitheist divine in the making.
So, I don't care. They deserve a little sexism towards them. And it's actually quite fun being mean to men. Because they don't really do anything, because most men say, I'm not sexist, I'm not mean to women, but they still, if a woman came up to them and slapped them, they would not fight back. I seriously, if I went up to a guy and punched him in the face, I would say, punch me back. I punched you in the face, why don't you punch me back? I would be able to whoop your ass at anything. Just punch me back. And they wouldn't do it, because they said, oh, she's a girl, she's such a weakling, she's this little tiny thing. And I'm like,
so men being a bunch of white knight manginas and not hitting back when you assault them makes you the oppressed person? I'm sorry, do go on my little Lorena Bobbitt in the making.
And I'm like, I beat all of you in an arm wrestling match. Look at this. I'm not bragging, but God, I don't even know where this came from. It's like muscle. I'm very strong, and I beat them all in arm wrestling, and they're like, but if any of us hurt them, like, we kick them in the shins, and we, like, mess around with them, we don't hurt them, because I'm not that mean, but then they won't touch us back. Like, this guy, Adam, he's just like, it's against my British nationality to hurt women, and he backs away. And I'm like, it's chivalrous, and it's cute, but there's an extent where I don't care. Come over to me and try to kick my ass. I've got you. You're down. There's like nothing that can stop me right now. If I'm on a rage, you have a broken nose and 2 black eyes. That's how it works. I'm not a girl. I'm a girl, but I'm not a weakling. And you know that expression? Don't be such a girl about it. Are you kidding me? Women are tough as hell. I mean, we bear children. We suffer so much pain. I mean, like, it's crazy how much men think we're little, priceless, breakable objects. And I don't get it. And I'm like, I don't want to get it. Society is terrible. And there's so many rules. Set rules to follow, like I've been saying. Men are superior. Women are below them. Always. Men rule. Women are off to the side. They do nothing. They're just there to cook for the men and clean for the men and bear their children. That's what they're there for, and that's it.
Wow, she is a true feminist, folks. She has this view that males are evil, sexist oppressors. Women are entitled to be mean to guys and get revenge on the male sex. After all, if any woman is hurt or oppressed by any man at any point in time, all males must instantly be held responsible. So thank you, Jessica Valenti, thank you, feminism, for creating such hate and bigotry, and spreading it to little girls and teaching them to hurt boys and feel justified. I blame feminism for teaching little girls to walk around with as much cruelty and hatred in their hearts as an old-school Mississippi Klansman, and a few people have left comments on her channel, long before I ever discovered her video, and she responded with,
"Please fuck off, this is what I feel, so you go get a fucking life. For clarification, I hate sexism towards women. Men can go die in a hole for all I care."
Folks, this is why I need men's rights activism, so that little girls aren't taught to hate like this. But you know what? There are people who think the men's rights movement is just garbage. People like Quetzallian, Femitheist Divine, Sale Palani, MRA's Exposed, Man Boobs, Hannibal Victor 13, and so many more. They have nothing positive to contribute. They just watch men's rights activists like a hawk, waiting for one dumb comment, one little mistake, and they pounce on it and scream at the top of their lungs, "This is what men's rights looks like. This is what men's rights looks like." All the while they turn their back to this sort of shit. The cruel, hateful little girl who's so proud of her sexist bigotry. She just loves being mean to boys, because it's payback time. Men can go die in a ditch for all she cares. Isn't it amazing how all of these anti-MRAs just conveniently turn their back and whistle, just pretend like this shit doesn't exist, and yet go on the attack the moment just one MRA gets the least bit out of line? You know why these anti-MRAs are like that? It's because they have the same rotten bigotry in them, the man-hating females among them, and the self-hating male guilters among them, just rotten bigotry. But yeah, this little girl, I blame feminism, and all the Jessica Valentis of the world who exploit the feminist hate movement for profit, and thereby perpetuate it, and all the hate, bigotry, and harm that comes from it. I blame feminism on her hatred, and it's why I need men's rights activism. One more thing, no one flag this girl's video. I know her words are powerful, sick, and hateful. However, I want that video to stay up for the world to see what feminism looks like. The anti-MRAs might flag it, just to cover up the evidence of it, because that's how they are. They turn their back and ignore. and then quickly sweep it under the rug so no one else can see, keeping up the denial, pretending that feminism is a sweet and peaceful movement full of lovey-dovey hearts and rainbows, all the while viciously attacking men who stand up for their rights, men who stand up against bigotry. So I suggest, you do not flag this, but instead, download it to your hard drive as I have. I love what a shining example of feminist hate this is.